yeah! Welcome back. Hopefully I don't have to pull my phone out and make most of you watch this episode. Let's recap the 2023 fantasy season, but first a quick word from our sponsors.
Wilderade. That's some kind of Wilder, now in Berry Blitz. Trey FC, finger licking. Man, how in the hell did finger licking good just get creepier? Coming this Friday to FX, Wilder Vice. Agent Wilder takes on Miami. Will he be able to survive the Miami Heat? You've never seen crime look this good. Wilder Vice, Fridays on FX.
Welcome to Week 1 of our Fantasy League recap, where Trey stormed out of the gates with an electrifying performance, putting up a whopping 163.4 points, the highest of the week. Wilder's lineup was unstoppable, leaving Claude's team in the dust with a 59.3-point differential, marking the biggest blowout of the week. Not to be outdone, Galt and T. Woods squared off in what turned out to be a close match, with Galt edging out a victory with 95.8 points to Woods' 69. The lowest score of the week, but a win's a win. Ian and Waivers had a nail-biter, with Barrow pulling off a slim victory, 88.1 to 86.1, showcasing the competitive spirit right from the get-go.
Week 2, upsets and comebacks. Week 2 brought the drama with Trey Wilder continuing his winning ways, racking up 134.8 points against T. Woods' 86.8. Wilder's on fire, folks, showing no signs of slowing down. Meanwhile, Potter bounced back from last week's defeat, defeating Rex by 6.3 points. The closest match of the week featured Collins and Barrow, with Collins narrowly securing the win 118.1 to 115.4. The competition's heating up as managers start to find their footing and make strategic moves to climb the leaderboard.
Week 3, record-breaking performances. Ian set the fantasy world ablaze with 176.6 points this week, the highest score this season, dwarfing Galt's strong 43.3-point performance. Meanwhile, Shane and Waivers battled it out, with Collins emerging victorious with a solid 148.3 points. But let's not overlook Rex, who, despite putting up a valiant effort, couldn't keep pace with Woods' 119.1 points. The action's just getting started, and if this week is any indication, we're in for a roller coaster season.
Week 4, strategic shifts. Rex is back in the spotlight this week, leading the pack with 137.4 points, and proving that strategic lineup adjustments can pay off big time. Rex's win over Ian, who managed just 99.1 points, was a masterclass in fantasy management. Meanwhile, Josh showed resilience, torching Potter to the tune of 127.9 points to 78.3. After losing a league record 10 in a row from 2014 to 2021 against Potter, Hud has now won 3 straight, bringing his record to 4-15 against Potter lifetime. And finally, in the Reason They Play the Game of the Week sponsored by Wilderade now in Berry Blitz, Ol winless Claude ranking dead last in points and took down leading scorer and previously undefeated Shane. Shane's decision to bench a chain after blowing his entire $88 free agent budget puzzled us all, even T. Wood.
Welcome to the TreyCenter set Miss J now. Thanks for joining us, Anita B. You are a little too close to me, though. And what are you doing with your hand?
Calm down, Trey. It's just my finger. Week 5, HUD delivered a statement win, obliterating T. Wood with an 81.4-point differential, the largest blowout of the season. Hudson's 161.1 points were a season highlight, leaving no doubt about his championship aspirations. On the other end of the spectrum, Cody struggled to find his footing, scoring the lowest total of the season at 49.4 points. Meanwhile, while we're talking about the spectrum, Waivers' choice to bench DJ Moore and his 45 points over Olave was rougher than this second knuckle is about to be for you Trey memes. Cut this next part.
Things got a little weird there. Let's get back to why is she still behind me? Week 6. Mid-season madness. Shane notched a notable win this week, putting up 126.1 points and proving that consistency is key. Meanwhile, Galt's 85.0-point win was the lowest scoring victory of the week, showing that sometimes it's not just about how much you score, but how you play the game, unless we're talking about college football and their undying love for the SEC. The competition is fierce, and with the season halfway through, every point, every decision becomes that much more critical. Managers are digging deep, looking for those sleeper picks and hidden gems to give them the edge. Let's send it over to Boomer. Boom!
Woot, 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 wop, woot, 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 tick, 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 back, 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 back. The Raiders, rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, he could go all the way. Week 7, turning points. Welcome all, and let me be the first to thank Commissioner Wilder for his premium content. Shane and Rex gave us a thriller in Manila, with Shane narrowly securing a win. Boom! It's clashes like these that bring the sizzle to fantasy sports. The wild unpredictability, the chess-like strategy, and the heart-pounding thrill of it all. As we dance down into the nitty-gritty band of the second half, the playoff landscape begins to crystallize. Back to you, TW. Woo.
Thanks, Boom. Always glad to have a legend on. Week 8, high stakes and high scores. Rex was the star of the show this week, amassing 145.3 points in a dominant performance. In the world of fantasy, timing is everything, and Rex's lineup clicked at the perfect moment. Although Shane's 142.1 to 94.4 beat down of Trey, and Hud's 143.2 to 131.5 battle of a win over Claude are nothing to scoff at. The league is heating up, and as we move into the final stretch, it's all about who can maintain momentum and who can pull off those game-changing moves. The battle for the playoffs is on, and every manager is in it to win it except for Claude, who has a 0% chance of making the playoffs.
Week 9, the playoff push. As the season edges the playoffs, Cody pulled off an impressive win this week, scoring 140.8 points. Potter grounded Trey 111.1 to 83.9. Wood thumped Ian by 37.5 points. It's clear that with the stakes higher than ever, managers are pulling out all the stops to secure their spots in the postseason. Let's see what happens, Cotton.
Thanks, Pipsqueak Trey. But let's look at Hud in his nail-biting matchup, squeezing past with waivers the narrowest of margins, winning by 1.9 points. It's these kinds of victories that can define a season, proving every decision, every player counts.
Week 10, showdowns and surprises. This week's Trey FC Party Pack Special of the Week highlights waivers who showcased his fantasy prowess this week, leading the scoreboard with 136.4 points, bouncing back from a heartbreaking loss last week. As we approach the end game, waivers is making a late-season surge, showing he's not to be underestimated. Wood survived against Cody in what many were calling the Caddy Bowl. And despite being only one of 3 teams to not break 100 points this week, Lee got an undeserved...
Week 11, crunch time confrontations. Trey Wilder wasn't messing around, amassing a huge 151.2 points in a critical week, blowing out Rex by 71 points. Good golly, Miss Molly. With the playoffs looming, Wilder's team is hitting its stride at the perfect moment, sending a message to the rest of the league. Waivers' 50-point blowout win over Cody would normally headline any other week. Hud lost to Ian in what could be a critical seeding matchup. Meanwhile, an upset loss to T-Wood has left Shane wondering about his playoff hopes. After starting 7-1, Shane has lost 3 straight.
As the regular winds down, Trey Wilder continues to impress, securing another win with 142.2 points over Waivers' 133.3. Waivers' score was 3rd highest on week. Hud scored only 0.2 more points than Waivers, a crippling defeat for Waivers, but he still has a chance heading into the final week to make the playoffs. Wilder's consistency is a testament to his strategic acumen and ability to navigate the ups and downs of the fantasy world. Trey attributed his victory to his pregame meal, Vanilla Waivers. With the final week approaching, 6 teams have a shot at making the playoffs, with many being winning in.
In the final week of the regular season, Shane's emerged with 143.2 points, solidifying his playoff position. And in what was the matchup of the year, Lee beat Hud by a measly 0.3 points, with it all coming down to Monday Night Football overtime, slamming the door on Trey's playoff hopes. The last push for the playoffs brought out the best in managers, with strategic plays and last-minute heroics. And with that, the regular season comes to a close. The playoff picture is finally clear, and the stage is set for an epic postseason. Congratulations to Shane, Hud, Lee, and Ian on making the playoffs. Shane, Hud, and Lee are the only fantasy managers yet to hoist the trophy. Meanwhile, Ian is seeking to tie Potter for most championships of all time. Be sure to tune in next time for the playoff recap and final roster evaluations. Thank you for joining all your Treys on TreyCenter. I am Trey Wilder, and if you don't chew Big Red, screw you.